welcome back to my channel. This is Stella of DearStellaTV. Thank you so much to my new subscribers. Thank you to all my viewers, especially those who viewed my last video on sexual abuse of kids and families. If you haven't watched that video, I'll put the link below. Just find it. But before we even progress, you know what we do? We have a drink. Cheers, guys. Guys, today I'm going to be talking about something really practical that happens to marriages in the diaspora. Specifically, I want to focus on marriages in the diaspora and how it is affected, marriage and sex, how sex has been affected in marriages in the diaspora. So marriage and sex, guys. Okay. Today, guys, it's a deep topic. It's something that is troubling, that has caused a lot of tension in marriages that a lot of couples don't talk about. They are in for a shock when they just relocate and come, we are in the UK, for example. You could be anywhere else in the world, Germany, America, wherever. You go as a couple, for example, and in Africa, the lifestyle is totally different, you see. You have maids that can help you. You have house helps, house girls, house boys that can help you. You have drivers, you have cooks if you can afford it. So if you can afford it and you want it, when we were in Nigeria, we had that as well. So it makes your life easy in many ways, So your married life is your sexual performance, appetite, drive isn't such a big challenge if you have the time. For us, it was different because my husband had a job that was so demanding. He used to work in a bank, and he would go like first thing in the morning, 5 a.m., and he comes back maybe around 11:30, 12. So that was his own challenge because of traffic, and he closed late at work. So that was a different, type of challenge. But I'm talking about in general, people see each other more in Africa as a married couple than when you come abroad. When you relocate, the story is totally different, because take my husband for example. When we were in Nigeria, he was working in a bank. He was a big boy, he worked with the MD directly, so he wore suit and tie and everything. Lifestyle was different. Then we came abroad, and then you get the shock of your life. Guess what? You can't get those kind of jobs. As an African immigrant, when you come here, those jobs that might not readily be available. I can't speak for the entire populace, but in general, we know a lot of people. We have family, friends, and all of that. If you didn't school here, for example, you didn't get your education here and all of that, they're not going to give you a job because you do not have British experience. It's as simple as ABC. That is the unwritten law. You don't have British experience, they don't give you a job, right? So the men, especially the black men, African men, they struggle. So what happens is they go to security line. You see, my husband worked in security. My brother-in-law worked in security. We know lots of African guys who work in security. More currently now, if you have your driver's license and all that, your husband can work in, he can maybe be an Uber driver. But then before you can get an Uber driver, you have to have clean license for 3 years, for example. So the first few years is going to be very rocky. Or he work in construction. You see, so he's going to be working manually, like manual labor. You're not going to be like a management position or nothing like that. No matter the degree you came from in Nigeria, no matter the experience you have. I'm just telling you, if you've just relocated here or you've been here for a while, I want to explain the dynamics that changes your husband's sexual drive. That is what this video is really about, you see. So your husband works now in security. Depending, when we first came here, my husband was working in a security company that he had to stand for many hours. I can't even remember. And he told me point blank when he came home, like the first few days, he said, "My love, I cannot do this kind of job." He said, "I cannot be in security that is standing. I have to find security that I can sit down, corporate security, you understand? So I think they call that one retail security or something. So that was what he did. So he only did that one for 6 months, but that 6 months, his body went through torture. So I want to explain to you as the wife, you know. So your husband comes back. When he goes to work, he's your husband. If you're unfortunate enough that your husband works in retail security where he does most of standing, maybe 6 hours of standing out of 12 hours. Usually it's 12-hour shift, right? So if he does 6 hours standing or 9 hours of standing, by the time he comes home, he's half dead man in quote. Don't expect that man to be the one that will be romantic, you know, throw you, cook for you, or what do you call it? Book a holiday for you, treat you like and pamper you. Why? Because he's tired. He's tired, he's exhausted. You as a wife, you have to understand that. I'm hoping that you are not doing security work, you know. If you are not doing security work, like I was doing my own line of work, you see. I was a quality assurance manager. So it was different. It was tough and demanding, but it wasn't like manually standing like that, you know. And so when I had to be very, very understanding. I had to supply him with emotional support, encouraging him, telling him it's going to be better. We're just starting out. Don't worry, you'll get a better job. I support him with prayer, you know, that kind of thing. That is your role as his wife. So depending on what your situation is, it could be the opposite. If, for example, you are a nurse, the husband could be a nurse or the wife could be a nurse, and it depends. There are some nurses that don't have to like stand and, you know, do all that kind of hard labor work that is back-breaking and grueling. If you don't have to do that, if your shift is like an easy shift, not easy, but you know, a bit more not so challenging to the body, then you will help more at home. Do you understand? There has to be a fine balance between the two. So now let's go back to your husband. So your husband is exhausted. Maybe he does construction work, you know, and he has to do a lot of manual labor, or he works in retail. Do you know that even if you are a manager in a retail company like Iceland, Tesco, Sainsbury, whatever, you're just as, they work you as hard as the normal sales assistant and all of that. You have to lift crates, you have to do a lot of stocking the shelf and all sort of back-breaking manual labor. If you do that, your husband is going to be exhausted and drained. That is it. So this man now, he's tired. And then you're going to say, oh yeah, come and service me. And when he puts his head on the pillow, he's gone. He's snoring. Now, he's tired. And then you're going to say, oh yeah, come and service me. And when he puts his head on the pillow, he's gone. He's snoring. Wifey, that is not a time for you to hate him. That is not a time for you to treat him like he's a lazy man. No, it's the kind of work he's doing. Manual labor is something his body isn't used to. It's something that you have to be understanding. Remember, it's just for a season in your marriage. It's not going to be forever. That's the way I always say. Everything is perspective. It is not a time for a wife to start cheating, for a wife to start resenting her husband, for a wife to start, bad-mouthing her husband, for a wife to think less of the husband. It's not the time for all of that. It's the time to support him in prayer, in encouragement, help him look for a job, while you are also taking care of the kids and doing all of that. Yes. So your sex life, you find out that it's not going to be as robust and as frequent. It's not going to be as robust and as frequent and as spontaneous and as exciting as it could have been. And it's not the end of the world. You see, I keep saying it, marriage is in seasons. The time for that dynamism, spontaneity, all of that will still come. But just for now that you've relocated to a new country, it's a different ballgame entirely. I'm just sensitizing you I want you to be aware it does affect your sexual drive until you find the right balance, until you find a rhythm that works for you. So for us, for example, when we first came, we struggled because um, my husband will be coming from work and we'll meet at the door. So he was doing night shift, I was doing day shift. So when I'm coming back in the evening, that's when he's going to work. So we meet at the door, hug and kiss, and we say, bye, love, the Lord be with you, we'll pray, and he goes, you see. And then the following morning, so I'm with the kids, I take care of the kids, blah, 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 blah. And then in the morning, he's coming in and I'm going. We did that for 9 years. 9 years. But we got a relief. The first 6 months was a struggle, like I told you, because he was doing the retail security, right? He was standing. Then, but he knew that it wasn't sustainable for him, that his body cannot take it, not long term. And I was happy for that, you know. And then eventually he got a corporate security after like 6 months. So the pressure eased, but it was still demanding, but not as demanding as that. But he was still doing night shift, and he found night shift a real struggle, considering he'd never done night shift all his life, you know. And I really, really doff my heart out at my husband. God bless him, because it was his suggestion that he should do night and I should do day. God bless him. So I had to support him in so many other ways, and he had to do school run. My husband had to do the school run because I have gone during the day. So he comes in the morning and then he takes the kids to school, and then he makes, when they come back, he does the school run again. He will bring them back and then he will feed them and all of that. And after that, he will go to work. So it was really, really hard. Considering when we were in Nigeria, my husband hadn't done school run, not one day. I did the school run, I did, did all the household. So the roles changed and it reversed. But it was still a beautiful, it didn't affect our marriage like that, except that he was tired, And of course, me too, I was tired, train journey. I was doing 2 hours to 2 hours fro. So 4 hours train journey every day. We lived outside London at the time. But after a year, we moved to London and it was a bit, easier. And then we made sure we moved to a house, a place where the school was just, walking distance. So it was just like, I don't know, 5 minutes walk. So it was so much easier. So those are the things, guys. When you are getting a house, get a house that you can put your children in the school, a walking distance from your house. That is the best. The rent is more expensive there, but it's better for you. Because I tell you, to be able to do your school run, do your job, take care of the kids, it's going to take a toll on your body if you don't use your brain. If you go and say, let me stay 10,000 miles away, 30 minutes away from school or 20 minutes, it's going to take you longer. That takes a toll on your body. So what you gain, if you live nearer the school, you save time, and that time, it helps your health as well. So I'm just giving you tips. Those are the ways you can help your marriage, so that you don't put too much strain on your marriage. Anyway, so we did all of that. Then after 6 months, my husband went to corporate, and then it was better, you see. So he had day off. So the shift patterns that you also choose is important. My husband chose, I think then they used to do maybe 3 days on, 3 days off, something like that. But the good thing is 3 days during the week, we could see. And what I did for those 3 days. So the opportunities you get, wives, or husbands, I'm just giving you advice. The opportunities you get, don't waste it. Don't waste it on fighting. Don't waste it on resentment. Don't waste it on quarreling. Don't waste it on complaining. Those 3 days, I look forward to it. Those 3 days with my husband, those 3 days were precious to me. It was like honeymoon. I use it as honeymoon period because remember, he was doing night. So during the day, he's now home. And I got a job where I didn't have to go too early now. I changed job. In London, you change jobs a lot. That's the beautiful thing. You don't have to be stuck with a job. So I changed jobs so that I was now resuming a bit later. I think I have to be at work by 2 o'clock or something, so it was, or 1 o'clock. So it was easier. So we could be together in the morning, So I used those 3 days as honeymoon. We'll go for walks, we'll eat out, we'll just go down the road, or up the road and just have a meal. And we use it as gisting time, catching up on, the whole week, what we missed, telling me about the kids and, stuff like that. So that is the advice I want to give you. You do the planning. If your husband is doing night shift and he's exhausted and all that, don't, instead of hating him or resenting him, you do the planning. You know, women, we can multitask, we can do a lot. It's a blessing. Instead of moaning, oh, I'm doing so much, just take it as an opportunity to plan. I do a lot of the planning for us, you know, for me and my husband, or suggestions to say, let's go out. My husband does it as well, but I do it more because I have more time, or my brain is always thinking like that. You know, I'm a romantic freak, but he goes along with it. So thank God he goes along with it, and it's fun, and it doesn't have to cost too much money. So I'm saying that your sex drive, in summary, what I'm saying is, when you relocate, marriages in diaspora, just be aware that your sex drive will be impacted, sometimes negatively, but it's only at the start. And you know, as you get to establish a routine and a rhythm that works for you and your husband, you know, as you adjust to this new lifestyle, it's not the end of the world. It gets better, and it's a beautiful experience, you know. So that's what I want to tell you, to say, don't give up hope. Don't think, oh, this lifestyle is so, even for the husband, it's a beautiful thing. You raise your kids yourself. I love it. I saw something on TikTok the other day where they showed they dramatized what I'm telling you now, where the husband was coming in and the wife was going away, and they just changed cars, and you know, he served himself and all of that. Yes, you eat yourself, you plan who's going to cook and all of that. You know, I used to do cooking weekends at that time and do shopping like once a month, and so my husband would do the serving and maybe cook rice and stuff like that. So there's no big man in it. It's your life. You understand? It's your life. It's your marriage. Make it work. Don't think this job is beneath me. I can't cook. I can't clean. I can't take care of the kids because I'm the husband. No. If you're in a new country, that's what it takes. And the reward is amazing, because you get closer to your children. You established a connection with the children that you probably didn't have when you were in Africa, because it was the maid taking care of your kids for you. The first thing I was thankful to God for when we relocated abroad was the fact that I got to look after my children myself. I loved it. Something that, you know, some women get frustrated about that. No. Some people think it's such hard work. No, not for me. Me and my husband, we plan on having 2 kids. So I know that my capacity is 2 children. You understand? To look after them. But so you have the number of kids you know you have capacity to look after. It's not hard work. It's beautiful. You get to teach them how to pray, teach them to sing, teach them to do all sorts of stuff. My husband too established his own relationship with the kids. So it's such a blessing. I want you to look at it as such a blessing, instead of looking at it that it's such hard work. And you get so many opportunities. You will open your eyes and hearts to things that you never thought you were capable of. You understand? I mean, I never planned to write when I was in Nigeria. I never planned to be an author. I never even thought I could write. Even though when I was in secondary school, I used to scribble and write plays, but I didn't think anything would come of it. Only when I came abroad, that seed grew and it became like a mustard tree. So I hope today I've helped you. Don't give up, even if your sex drive and your sexual whatever goes down at this time. It's not going to stay down. It will blossom again. Marriage is in seasons. It will blossom again. It will be a beautiful experience. Marriage is a beautiful experience. You just give it time. It's like a flower. You know how long you have to wait when the bud is like this? You know, like it's autumn now in England and everything. The flowers are turning brown and orange and red and it's all falling. It's going to take a whole season again to have springtime and harvest time. That's how marriage is. There's, you know, it goes like that. It's like a circle of life. It's a beautiful experience. So I hope today you've been able to get 1 or 2 things. Pray for your husband. Pray for your wife. Your marriage, I pray that it will be blessed in Jesus' name. And you will be a blessing to others in the mighty name of Jesus. So guys, look at one of my books. You know, now I've written 39 books, guys, to the glory of God and by His grace. This is one of my books called Mr. Stranger. If you haven't seen it, it's on Amazon, it's on Nook, Kobo. Those are my reading. When I'm reading, I just put it in there. This is a paperback, guys. Try and get it and read. If you do, let me know. Guys, until next time, it's Stella.